My elder sister remained childless 3 years after marriage. Reluctant to let the Marquis take a concubine, she deceived me into entering the manor. Being a concubine is beneath you, she said, so I won't make you one. Once you bear a child, I'll find you a poor family to marry as their legitimate wife. How dignified. After losing my virtue, she imprisoned me in the manor. Fearing scandal would tarnish her reputation, she refused to summon a physician. After 3 days of agony, both my child and I perished. She discarded our bodies in a mass grave. When I awoke, my elder sister pleaded, "The deed is done. All concubines are lowly." Glancing at the Marquis beside her, silent and impassive, I smiled softly. "To be your concubine, brother-in-law, I willingly consent." After getting me drunk and sending me to my brother-in-law Xiaxinji's bed, my elder sister wept all night, and Xiaxinji spent the entire night comforting her. Now both bore faint traces of dark circles beneath their eyes. She playfully scolded him, patting Xiaxinji lightly. "Are you satisfied now? This younger sister of mine is only 16, and far more obedient and docile than I was. Though her birth mother was a courtesan, my sister was raised pure and chaste in our home. You've gotten a bargain." Xiaxinji tenderly grasped her hand and kissed it lightly. "She's merely a common woman, no match for Wanner." My elder sister smiled with satisfaction, then reached for my hand. "Being a concubine is lowly, so I won't make you one. Once you bear a child, I'll find you a poor family to marry as their legitimate wife." How dignified. I lowered the hairpin pressed against my neck from my past life, watching them coldly. In my past life, believing my virtue already lost, I resolved to die by suicide. But when my elder sister saw I wouldn't heed her advice, she had me locked in the back courtyard. Xiaxinji came to the back courtyard 3 times a month, never missing a single visit. A year later, I conceived Xiaxinji's child, believing giving birth would restore my freedom. Yet during the difficult labor, my elder sister, fearing scandal would tarnish her reputation, refused to call a doctor. I endured 3 days of agony before both lives were lost. Seeing my silence, my elder sister assumed I had consented. Clutching my palms tightly to suppress the nausea, I forced a sweet smile at Xiaxinji and said, "I am willing to become your concubine." Hearing this, both Xiaxinji and my elder sister froze. Her expression turned icy in an instant. "Do you know that women who willingly become concubines are lowly and despicable?" I hastily knelt on the ground and kowtowed 3 times to my elder sister. "Your younger sister's heart is devoted. I only beg for your sisterly kindness and indulgence." My elder sister pondered for a moment, then suddenly smiled. "Since it's not proper now, it's better to wait until you give birth to a son before taking you as a concubine." She's deceiving me. In my past life, she imprisoned me in the back courtyard. When I died in childbirth, she refused to summon a doctor. I fear that after I give birth, she'll quietly dispose of me while I'm weak. But I have no other path. My elder sister leaned lazily against her husband's embrace and laughed. "You are forbidden to spend the night in her quarters. No one in the household may call her concubine. Deliver her monthly allowance in person each time you visit her quarters. Only after she bears a son may she be taken as a concubine." Fearing Xiaxinji might refuse, my sister feigned pouting. In our era, no wife would be as magnanimous as I. Xiaxinji understood the immense sacrifice my elder sister made to take me as a concubine. He and my sister were deeply devoted to each other. My brother-in-law was a young and accomplished general. My elder sister possessed innate brilliance, devising ingenious strategies beyond others' comprehension. Their story unfolded like a legendary tale. He defied the imperial decree to resist an arranged marriage for her sake. She led a daring raid beyond the frontier for his. My brother-in-law vowed to honor my sister, pledging lifelong fidelity to her alone. The only regret was 4 years ago. when bandits besieged the city in winter. My brother-in-law couldn't protect her. My sister froze in the snow for 3 days, developing a chronic illness that left her unable to bear children. The matriarch of the Xia family threatened to die unless my brother-in-law took a concubine to continue the family line. My sister refused food and drink, washing her face with tears, saying she regretted not returning home and staying here for my brother-in-law. He embraced his elder sister with heartache. As you wish. Prepare a room in the side quarters of the inner courtyard. His elder sister addressed the maidservants with profound meaning. This is my younger sister. From now on, if any of you mistreat her, you will be crossing me. As they left, the maidservants glanced at me with either pity or contempt. When I returned to my room, 3 taels of silver lay on the table. In my past life, Xia Shenji would give me 3 taels of silver each time he visited my room. He humiliated me as if I were a courtesan. So I refused to accept that money that degraded me, even if it meant death. My meals were always stale. My clothes always torn. But now, I carefully spread them out, counting each piece. I took them all. They owed me, and not a single coin could be withheld. Beside me, the maid Xiao Zhu watched my meticulous counting, hesitating to speak. I smiled and asked her, "Do you all look down on me?" Xiao Zhu, barely 12, bit her lower lip and shook her head. "It seems like you're crying, miss. But there are no tears." As we spoke, the maid Xiao Mei peered in from outside. Her hair shone like glossy jet. And when she smiled, 2 dimples appeared. "Miss K, the plum blossoms are in full bloom outside. I picked a branch for your vase. Our master will be visiting tonight." When Xia Shenji came to my room, he still seemed somewhat uneasy. Candlelight flickered as I sat beneath the window's plum tree, writing a letter. Seeing him enter, I flushed and lowered my head. In my past life, Xia Shenzi and I shared countless intimate moments, yet never exchanged words. He always extinguished the lamp, pulled down his robe, and covered my entire body. Occasionally, when intoxicated, he'd lose control, calling me by my childhood nickname, Wanner, as if he were the one being forced, not me. The room fell silent. Xia Shenzi stood awkwardly, unsure how to speak. "There's a character I can't recall how to write. I was just looking for someone to ask." I smiled at him. "You know how to write?" "Yes. A scholar lived next door to us when I was young." Xia Shenji leaned closer to examine my writing, his admiration evident. "Beautiful handwriting. Not like Wanner's, her writing always looks like gibberish." Outside, snow fell in silence so profound you could hear every sound. Just then, the lamp oil burned out. I leaned over his body to dip my brush in ink, and he naturally wrapped his arm around my waist. "Brother-in-law?" There was a hint of forbidden allure in the air. His body stiffened, his grip tightening around my waist. When passion burns bright, no lamp is needed. Panting heavily, he asked me with keen interest, "If you like me, why did you resist so fiercely that night?" Fighting nausea, I croaked. "I'm a girl from a respectable family. I'd imagined my beloved proposing with 3 letters and 6 betrothal gifts, marrying me through proper channels." Xia Shenzi remained silent for a long moment. As his desire waned, his affection cooled further. "I've promised your sister I'll never take a concubine in this lifetime." I tugged weakly at his robe hem. "Next month. I heard you and sister are going to the spring banquet. I want to go too. If someone refuses the first unreasonable request, they usually won't refuse the second harmless one." My elder sister's support came from 2 sources, Xia Shenji and Prince Li Ling of Yong. In my previous life, when my elder sister met Prince Li at the spring banquet, Xia Shenji grew jealous and had a huge argument with her. I must gain favor with Prince Li. Xia Shenji instinctively wanted to refuse me. It was also the old lady's wish. I'll follow behind you and won't disturb you. Xia Shenji pondered for a moment before softly murmuring his consent. Outside, the snow fell heavier, swirling and rustling. Hearing his agreement, my heart swelled with joy. I hurriedly rose to help him dress. Xia Shenji seemed unaccustomed to being attended to after so long, instinctively taking a step back. After a moment of hesitation, he sat back down on the bedside, allowing me to kneel and help him into his boots and socks. The snowlight cast a hazy glow over the room. Leaning against the bed, Xia Shen watched me, clad only in my undergarments, serving him with my head bowed low as I carefully smoothed the wrinkles from his socks. He seemed deep in thought. You bear a striking resemblance to your elder sister. Yet you are quite different. Indeed. My elder sister is proud and self-assured. She would never stoop to serving him in such a manner. Kneeling low to help him dress, I lifted my eyes and met his gaze. His brows and eyes were profoundly deep and strikingly beautiful. Catching my eyes, Xia Shenji shifted his gaze uncomfortably, his expression once again as still as water. Brother-in-law, you should return now. It's snowing outside, and sister is waiting for you. That brother-in-law made Xia Shenji pause, his brow furrowing. Don't call me brother-in-law. I watched him cautiously. Xia Shenji couldn't think of what else I should call him either. He waved his hand. Never mind. Outside, snowflakes fell as large as pillows. Worried his elder sister might be upset, he braved the heavy snow to return and keep her company. I stood at the doorway, watching his figure vanish into the wind and snow. Weren't we supposed to be alone? Why bring Qiaoer along? My elder sister was furious. It was mother's wish. Xia Shenji patiently soothed her. Qiaoer and mother are riding in a separate palanquin. They're stopping to pay respects at the temple along the way and won't be traveling with us. Who gave you permission to call her Qiaoer? The eldest sister angrily brushed Xia Shenji's hand away. I'll say it again. Xia Shenji. What bodhisattvas and gods? That's all feudal superstition. They don't exist at all. These words were overheard by Lady Xia, who had just entered the room. She stroked her prayer beads, murmured my apologies, and when she looked up at the eldest sister again, displeasure was evident in her eyes. As a wife, addressing the Marquis by his given name, is that proper? The eldest sister remained silent, shooting Xia Shenji a resentful glance. Caught between his wife and his mother, he stood awkwardly in the middle, a general on the battlefield, entangled in the petty squabbles of mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. He looked flustered and uncomfortable. Seeing Xia Shenji with his hands clasped and head bowed reminded me of the eunuchs who delivered the imperial decree when my elder sister was betrothed. Just take care with you. She's the concubine you brought in yourself. Lady Xia, calm and composed, glanced at her elder sister. Don't blame others. If you could bear children yourself, you wouldn't have to beg the bodhisattva today, nor would these troubles have arisen. The moment Lady Xia departed, the eldest sister smashed a vase. She shot Xia Shenji a hateful look. You just let her humiliate me? Xia Shenji stammered. She is still my mother. She says I can't bear children. But has she ever considered why I can't? Her tears fell as she continued. That winter when bandits besieged the city, I lay in the snow for 3 days to cover your retreat. That's how I ruined my health. If you hadn't lost that battle, would I have to endure your mother's scorn now? Exposed before everyone. Xia Shenji froze, his face flushing with embarrassment. The maids and servants below kept their heads bowed, not daring to breathe. I'm the one who's wronged you. He reached out to take his elder sister's hand, but she turned away, wiping her tears. For the sake of your Xia family, I lowered myself to bring my younger sister into the household. You've had your comfort, while I've borne all the shame. Back then, Prince Yong was deeply in love with me. I truly regret choosing you. You should know that because of me, Prince Yong still hasn't taken a wife to this day. Hearing his elder sister mention his former rival, Xia Xinji grew impatient. He hasn't taken a wife, but he has taken 5 concubines. The elder sister snapped. Still, he hasn't taken a wife. And those 5 concubines all resemble me, proof he can't let go of me. His white moonlight. If you say another word, I'll go find him tonight and make you wear the biggest green hat imaginable. At this, Xia Xinji lost his temper, sweeping his elder sister into a horizontal embrace. She cried out in protest and struggled, but couldn't resist his strength. The maids exchanged glances and quietly closed the door behind them. Before I could leave the courtyard, old lady Zhou, the matron by the matriarch's side, beckoned me with a smile. Auntie Lin, the matriarch wishes you to select a fine garment for the spring Buddhist ceremony. I thanked her and turned to go, but then heard my elder sister calling through the window. Little sparrow, come in and help me dress. I glanced at old lady Zhou with a troubled look. She pulled me closer discreetly. Don't worry, concubine. The old lady values you. If you bear a son, your position will be secure. Unsure how to respond, old lady Zhou stroked my hand kindly. The old lady wouldn't put you in a difficult position. Go now. I shot her a grateful glance before hurrying to my elder sister's chambers. She lay languidly, her delicate frame leaning against Xia Xinji's embrace. She didn't truly need my service, she'd summoned me only to spite the old lady. That old woman called you auntie. And you actually answered? I kept my head bowed, silent, noticing my faded, worn-out clothes. She snorted coldly. Don't get your hopes up about the benefits the old lady promised you. She only wants to use you to bring me down. They're just clothes. Chuier. Pick out some garments and jewelry to send to my sister. Our Lin family isn't some destitute household that has to scavenge her hand-me-downs. The eldest sister yawned, feigning annoyance at Xia Xinji's earlier impertinence. If it were my sister, that dead fish, silent as a log, what fun would you have? Embarrassed. I lowered my head. Xia Xinji listened, his gaze lingering thoughtfully on the nape of my neck before sliding down to my waist. His eyes darkened, seemingly stirred by this stark contrast. Ignoring the eldest sister's gasp, he drew her close by the waist and sank beneath the layered bed curtains. The spring banquet unfolded at the foot of Puji Temple. Ladies ascended the mountain to pay respects to the Buddha, while young scholars gathered below for poetry recitals and archery contests. It also served as an opportunity for families to scout potential matches. My elder sister disdained mingling with the ladies' quarters, instead holding court among the men, talking loudly and laughing boisterously without restraint. Your daughter-in-law truly is unrestrained and free-spirited, remarked Lady Zhou, who had always been at odds with Lady Xia. Even after marriage, she remains unfettered. Clearly, you cherish her. Lady Xia sipped her tea without responding, instead beckoning me. Go fetch the marquis. Standing there with Prince Yong is nothing but a laughingstock. Xia Xinji had just gone to challenge his elder sister to an archery contest. Face grim. They hadn't reconciled after their recent quarrel, and she ignored him completely, instead chatting and laughing with a man nearby. The capital's noble ladies all knew how Prince Yong and Xia Xinji had fought tooth and nail to marry the eldest sister. Now, with her ignoring her husband while laughing with the prince, everyone was watching the spectacle. Brother-in-law, the lady calls for you. Holding my quiver, I curtsied. Spotting me, both the man beside my elder sister and Xia Xinji froze. The old lady personally selected my gown and jewelry, instructing me on the makeup to wear. Mother had once served in the Imperial Music Troupe, and through constant exposure, I learned her art of cosmetics. My brows were lightly swept. A pale yellow ruchuan paired with a soft green cloak. a simple silver sparrow hairpin adorning my hair. The reflection in the mirror bore a striking resemblance to my 16-year-old elder sister, yet carried an added delicacy. Accustomed to my plain attire, Xia Shenji momentarily failed to recognize me, his eyes betraying undisguised astonishment. "You are Kair?" The man beside my elder sister stared at my face, unable to recover for a long while. "Who are you?" Noticing his intrusive gaze, Xia Shenji stepped in front of me, displeased. "This is my wife's younger sister, Your Highness. Please don't be mistaken. Though my younger sister's birth mother was a courtesan, she herself was raised pure and chaste within our household. I intend to select a suitable husband for her, ensuring she marries into prominence." My elder sister's words were a veiled criticism, and the noble youths all averted their gazes. Seeing her displeasure, the Prince of Yong lost interest and chuckled. "I was merely inquiring. The old lady requests your presence for tea." I avoided everyone's eyes, watching only Xia Shenxi's reaction. Pleased, Xia Shenxi said, "Let's go." Yet I did not walk beside him, lost in thought about how to approach the Prince of Yong. "Why aren't you walking with me, Qiao'er? I fear others might gossip. But you and I have long." "It's different." I stopped and looked at him. "Brother-in-law, you know my elder sister cannot tolerate me. One day, I must leave you and find a place to call my own." Xia Shenxi could not refute this, standing frozen in place. Spring pancakes are a must at the spring banquet. Xia Shenji dislikes them, so he casually gives them away as gifts. For over a decade, he's attended the spring banquet every year. The Marquis never eats the spring pancakes, he always has them given away. Every year? I sipped my tea, smiling as I picked up on Lady Xia's words. Year after year. The medicine king bodhisattva here is remarkably efficacious. The Marquis should make a prayer for me. Seeing the Marquis's filial devotion, the medicine king bodhisattva couldn't bear to remain unresponsive. I silently noted this in my mind. As I poured tea for Xia Shenji, he noticed the wound on my hand. "How did you get hurt?" Qiao'er was practicing archery. "That girl is clumsy and can't learn it well. I've even advised her not to waste her efforts." The old lady blew away the tea steam. This child's single-minded devotion pleases some people, while others remain oblivious. Xia Shenji was puzzled. "You just said you'd leave soon. That you wouldn't stay at the Xia residence. Then why?" Lady Xia sighed deeply. "If she wishes to leave, won't you try to keep her?" Just then, someone arrived to summon her. "Miss Kair, our young mistress has acquired a rare treasure. We'd like you to come see it." "See? Fine things naturally attract attention." Lady Xia smiled. "Go, my dear." I heard Xia Shenji ask from behind. "Mother, when did you come to value Qiao'er so highly?" "This Qiao'er, she comes to my chambers daily to recite sutras with me, copy scriptures, and tend to my medicine. She serves me 100 times more devotedly than your fine wife." The maid never revealed which household she served. Once they reached a secluded spot in the woods, she vanished in a flash. I'd already guessed 3/4 of it, but now I was certain who it was. An arrow grazed my cheek, embedding itself in the tree. It wasn't me who caused her sorrow, it was Xia Shenxi. An arrow whizzed past my shoulder, startling birds into flight. Both of us love beyond reach. I thought His Royal Highness would understand my heart. Earlier, as I gazed dreamily at Xia Shenxi, the Prince of Yong should have discerned my affection. I could sense the deadly arrow aimed at my heart had been lowered. "How did you guess it was me? Your Highness's archery is second to none." Earlier, the maid wore splendid attire, and I have no noble lady friends in the capital. "You're quite clever." Prince Yong, Li Lang, smiled, not disappointing me. "Would your Highness be willing to make a deal with this commoner that can only gain?" Never lose? Li Lang gave no reply. I gathered my courage. I ask nothing of your highness. Only that when rumors reach your ears, let them be. Li Lang released the arrow from his hand, striking the soaring green bird dead center. He looked neither at me nor at the twitching bird on the ground. With a long stride. It's yours. Rumors spread throughout the capital that Prince Yong would soon wed a consort. He'd taken a fancy to a maiden at the spring banquet. To win her favor, he personally hunted kingfishers, crafting a jade hairpin as a token of his affection. The Empress Dowager, upon hearing this, eagerly offered to act as matchmaker, arranging a marriage for the prince. When the rumors reached our estate, I was assisting my elder sister with her evening routine. Having seen my skill at combing hair that day, she insisted I attend to her daily grooming. In the mirror, my elder sister wore the willow leaf brows I often styled for her, adorned with jewels and finery. Had she been 5 years younger, or dressed more plainly, one might truly mistake me for her. Her gaze fell upon the jade hairpin adorning my hair, and suddenly, fury surged through her. She raised her hand and struck me across the face. You've already charmed the Prince of Yong after just one meeting? I hastily knelt on the floor, not daring to protest. This scene was witnessed by Xia Shenxi. For today, I was to accompany him in administering medicine to the old lady. Xia Shenxi froze. Why did you strike her? My elder sister sneered. I strike my own sister, do I need your interference? She's not even your concubine yet. And you're already defending her? Xia Shenxi clearly didn't believe her. Standing behind my sister, I bit my lower lip, tears welling in my eyes, and shook my head at him. Don't quarrel with my sister over me. Xia Shenxi's tone turned sharp. Mother has been waiting long enough. Hurry up. After leaving the old lady's courtyard, Xia Shenxi ordered a maid to fetch medicine for my injuries. Under the lamplight, he leaned close, examining my swollen face. Did she treat you like this back home too? I said nothing, only bowed my head and wept. That lowered gaze revealed the jade feather hairpin adorning my hair. He knew I preferred simplicity and never wore such costly ornaments. Recalling the recent rumors, Xia Shenxi's expression darkened. Has the Prince of Yong set his sights on you? Please don't ask. I wiped my tears. I didn't know what to do. I didn't fully believe Prince Yong would simply ignore the rumors. If Prince Yong said it was all a misunderstanding, that he hadn't truly fallen for someone else, whatever I say to Xia Shenxi will become a laughingstock of my own delusions once the lies are exposed. So it's better left unsaid. Whether the Prince of Yong truly has feelings for someone else or is plotting with his elder sister to eliminate me, let Xia Shenxi guess for himself. But at its core, it's all about disregarding his dignity and plundering from his domain. Back in Mother's music troupe, if a man's chosen girl was snatched away, they'd fight fiercely over it. Mother, they truly loved that sister. No, they fought for their own pride. Mother stroked my head. Remember, little bird, men always love themselves most in this world. I looked at Mother, half understanding. If a man loves and admires you, it's mostly because he sees his own imagined self in you. Mother's eyes held endless desolation. A man rescuing a courtesan isn't necessarily love, it might just be a hero's dream. By the time Mother understood this truth, it was already too late. A man's pride and dignity outweigh so-called love 1,000-fold. Xia Shenxi might not love me now, but he certainly believes I belong to him. Even when my elder sister beat and scolded me, I saw anger and frustration in his eyes. Was his anger because something belonging to him was being treated so carelessly? Or was the frustration born from the realization that when he himself was dominated by his elder sister, he too had been as helpless and humiliated as I was now? If the Prince of Yong forced himself upon me, I would not simply submit. Xia Shenxi gazed intently into my eyes. You are mine. Such words from a weakling. I nearly laughed out loud. Mother was right, a man's sweet talk is but a confession and praise to himself. When he speaks of a lifetime, it's as if all variables lie within his grasp. When he vows to grow old together, it's as if he'll live 100 years. And his partner will never tire of him. At this moment, Xie Shenxi surely believed he truly possessed the strength to stand against both the Prince of Yong and his elder sister. If he wished to play the role of Chu's overlord, then naturally I would be his Yuji. It wasn't that Yuji needed the overlord. It was the overlord who needed Yuji to adorn his conquest. I smiled softly, tilting my head to rest against his chest. Clinging to him like a fledgling bird, little sparrow knows exactly how brother-in-law will bring the Prince of Yong to ruin. How? I placed his hand over my lower abdomen, my laughter light and flirtatious. The Prince of Yong has no heir yet. Why not let brother-in-law conceive a child with me first? When his own son returns someday, he can acknowledge brother-in-law as his father. Xie Shenxi truly believed I had some brilliant plan. He listened intently, only to find my laughter mischievous. Very well. Princess consort of Yong. Tonight, I shall make him wear a green cap. This subtle, veiled situation only heightened his interest. Naturally, I was eager to please him. Layers of bed curtains stacked high, obscuring the sky of resentment. Spring waters swelled, flooding the sea of sin. Within the gauze canopy, he fought with vigor. I bowed to submit. I watched his heart swell as large as his desire. At this moment, he must match his own expectations. He is a husband who commands the obedience of his wives and concubines. In the future, he will be a father who rules over all. He caresses my belly with lingering affection, imagining the child of his own already within. Proof of his manhood. Proof that in bed he is no less potent than the Prince of Yong. Amidst the springtime splendor of the bed, I strive to let my soul escape. Advance or retreat, both were slow torture. Xie Shenxi was satisfied with my defeat and death. Yet he still summoned my spirit back. Tell me about your past. After my elder sister fell into the water at 9, she became a different person. The Lin household wasn't large, but hierarchy was strictly observed. The concubines and their children remained obedient. But my elder sister couldn't tolerate us. She blamed not our father's infidelity, but our shamelessness. First, during the year of natural disaster, when the family sold the virtuous concubine Aunt Jo to the Lin household for sustenance, my elder sister berated her for being inherently base. Why couldn't she remain content? Why choose to debase herself as a concubine? Which was greater, dignity and honor, or starving to death in disgrace? Auntie Jo, gentle and quiet by nature, endured her daily taunts and insults without daring to argue back, merely eating her meals with tears mingled in her food. In a year of bountiful harvest, Auntie Jo hanged herself. Then there was my mother. My mother was a pipa player in the imperial music troupe. My father bought her freedom. When I was 5, my 10-year-old elder sister had already made a name for herself throughout the capital. Even though my mother had warned me to be cautious and never stand out, my elder sister needed no reason to drive us away. She merely clung to father's arm and pouted. There can be only one of us. My mother neither cried nor protested. She simply shielded me and asked father, "How are we, a widow and her orphaned daughter, supposed to survive? How did you make a living before? We'll do the same." My mother took me back to the music house, where she served the girls' daily needs, earning money by combing their hair and applying makeup. But she forbade me from dressing up or learning songs and dances. After 5 years of saving, the music house owner, seeing my face, had an idea and wanted to keep my mother on. My mother hurriedly moved us to a new place. We lived beside a private school, cooking soups for the students and taking on sewing jobs to earn money. Sometimes, when she met a kind-hearted student, She wouldn't take his money, asking only that he teach me to read and understand the world. Years of hard work took their toll, and my mother fell gravely ill. Before she died, she made me swear a solemn oath never to follow her path. She believed her mistake lay in trusting a man too easily, in thinking a woman's beauty alone could secure a stable life. But living this life anew, I feel mother blamed herself too harshly. It wasn't that she couldn't judge character, nor that she relied on her looks to sell herself. It was this world that pinned women down on the chopping block, ready for others to devour. Thanks to my mother's foresight, I learned to read ledgers and understand poetry. My handwriting might even rival that of some court scholar. Then, 6 months ago, my elder sister sent a letter. Her shop needed a female bookkeeper who could manage accounts. I had no desire to reconnect with her, but my mother's funeral left us deeply in debt. When I arrived at the Sierra residence, I drank the welcome wine my elder sister offered. When I awoke, the deed was done. 8 years of a beautiful woman and her innocent young daughter struggling to survive in a world full of lurking dangers. In the music hall, drunken bullies grabbed mother's hand, demanding she serve them wine. Afraid to offend them, she forced a smile and negotiated. In our shabby hut, the midnight sound of someone kicking the door made mother cry in fear. Yet she clutched the kitchen knife tightly, shielding me in her arms. To think it was so simple. Xia Shenxi paused upon hearing this. No wonder your calligraphy is so exquisite. I had no idea you were also well versed in poetry and prose. All that is ancient history now, of no use in the present. I found it amusing, yet I had to smile gently. Truly, practicing calligraphy for so long had strengthened my hands, giving me a solid foundation in archery as well. Xia Shenxi pondered for a moment. Your sister Wanner's handwriting looks like gibberish. Yet Prince Yong is most fond of calligraphy. He even requested several pieces of wild cursive script from the emperor's collection. If he learns your writing is so exquisite, he'll likely covet you once more. I've also considered that Prince Yong and you share such a natural affinity. Perhaps had you met him before me, you might have fared better. Selling to a marquis's household fetches a low price, selling to a prince's household commands a high price. It's still selling. Does it really matter whether it's noble or lowly? I sneered inwardly, but feigned anger outwardly, turning away. Does my brother-in-law truly believe anyone could make Chiaoer willingly become a concubine? Xia Shenxi's hands grew restless again, sliding down from my waist. Then tell me, Chiaoer, when did you willingly agree to be my concubine? Suppressing the urge to pull out my hairpin and stab him, I smiled. You guess. Was it when I won the archery championship before the emperor at 22? That year I was only 8. Struggling to survive cautiously with my mother in the music troupe. How could I have seen Xia Shenxi basking in imperial glory? Was it when I was 24? After winning a battle? When every maiden in the capital stole glances at me? That year I was only 10. Begging our landlord for 2 more days' rent with my mother. How could I have had the leisure of a capital city maiden? He carefully recalled his glorious past, though none of it had anything to do with me. While he and his legitimate sister lived legendary lives, my mother and I scrambled for a single meal, a single tile of shelter. When exactly was it? You don't remember yourself. I smiled and shook my head. Do you remember? At the spring banquet 8 years ago, you took pity on a child and gave her a spring pancake? Xia Shenxi pondered for a moment before shaking his head. I don't recall. So that child had remembered it all these years for nothing. Could it be that you? Do you remember how it rained just as hard 8 years ago? I was terribly ill, and no medicine helped. My mother carried me up the mountain to pray to the medicine king Bodhisattva. Strangely enough, on our way down, I ate half a spring pancake, and my fever broke. By the time we returned, I was well. Xia Shenxi stared at me for a long time, saying nothing. After a while, He actually curved his lips, unable to suppress a smile himself. Because of half a spring pancake? That's why you've been so devoted to me? I nodded firmly. Because of half a spring pancake. No wonder on the day of the spring banquet. You shared the pancakes and brewed tea for me. You were testing whether I still remembered. Xia Shenxi smiled. Because he believed it. People don't believe the truth. For the truth is sometimes too real. Yet they often believe lies. For lies are often sufficiently false. This lie was full of holes. Yet it was half truth. Half lie. Xia Shenxi probably remembered that 8 years ago, during the spring banquet, there had been several unusually heavy rains. Puji Temple was too far, and I was too gravely ill. My mother didn't believe in the Bodhisattva, yet she braved the downpour to beg a doctor to come to our door. When the consultation fee proved insufficient, she knelt before the doctor in the rain, her forehead bleeding from the impact. My illness was cured by the medicine my mother braved the storm to obtain. It had nothing to do with Xiaxinji, nor with the Bodhisattva seated high in the heavens. Yet Xiaxinji was moved. What a foolish girl, she gave her heart away for half a cake. Yes. I am not like my elder sister, nor like the world. My elder sister loved General Xia when he was in the height of glory, the world loved Marquis Xia when he was revered by all. But I alone loved Xiaxinji, the man. It had nothing to do with any titles the world bestowed upon him. This love was pure and fiery, unalterable even by death. Even the young prince, at the height of his power and unrivaled prestige, could not reverse time back to 8 years ago. Tears welled in my eyes as I gazed at him. My gaze filled with endless longing, making him tremble. Xia Shenxi. In this moment, surely you pity me too. I am like an ant, like a flower that blooms without your care, waiting for your mercy. To my elder sister Lin Wanner, you, Xia Shenxi, were merely icing on the cake, a tune to enliven the feast. But to me, Lin Kayer, you are aid in my hour of need, a kindness I shall remember for a lifetime, one I would repay with my very body and soul. He remained silent for a long while, then gently wiped my tears away, embracing me with infinite tenderness. I'm sorry. All these years, I never realized. I said nothing, simply letting him hold me. The room was filled with warmth, the lamplight soft and inviting. A sudden clap of thunder split the sky, and torrential rain poured down. Xiao Mei understood my look and smiled. Unfortunately, our rain gear was left at the old lady's place a few days ago. I urged Xia Shenxi. Shouldn't we wait before going to my elder sister's room? Such heavy rain will make you catch a chill. Xia Shenxi waved his hand. Tonight, I'll stay with you. But what about sister? Is that all right? I looked at him uneasily. Sister might blame you. The Xia household hasn't taken her surname yet. I'm still in charge here. After saying this, Xia Shenxi grew annoyed at the thought of his elder sister's fuss. He instructed the servants. Don't tell Lin Wanner. If she asks, just say I was with mother late into the night. I calculated how Xia Shenxi was staying in my room later and later each night. Not quite yet. But soon. Very soon. I'll be pregnant. Recalling the agony of childbirth from my past life, I shuddered involuntarily. What's wrong, brother-in-law? If you want me to keep your secret, you'll need to sweeten the deal. Otherwise, I'll spill everything. He looked at me, then leaned in and captured my lips with a kiss. We'd shared countless moments of physical intimacy, yet never once exchanged a kiss. This tender intimacy felt like we were lovers who'd endured trials to finally be together. I'll make it up to you, he murmured hoarsely, teasingly. Can you handle it? I giggled coquettishly, wrapping my arms around his waist as we plunged into a whirl of passion. He seemed overjoyed by my awkward, inexperienced responses. How could I ever have thought you dull? Nothing whets the appetite more than watching a beauty you've personally molded transform from innocent timidity to craving carnal delight. I was a blank canvas for his brushstrokes, letting him indulge his every whim. After the lights went out, thunder and rain roared like a divine judgment on my lies and sins. Winter thunder. Summer snow, we've experienced half of it. I've already planned how to kill Lin Wanner, to truly destroy her soul. And Xia Shenxi? I gazed deeply at his profile, gently caressing it. Qiaoer, half asleep. He grasped my hand. I rested against his chest, listening to his steady heartbeat. This life was within my grasp, stirring my restlessness. My elder sister refused to believe the nonsense that Xia Shenxi had gone to our mother. Early the next morning, she burst in, catching Xia Shenxi and me in bed. I'd already heard Xiao Mei's startled cry outside the door. My elder sister raised her hand and slapped Xiao Mei, kicking her to the ground. When she slashed open the bed curtains with her sword, I lay half undressed, my legs still wrapped around Xia Shenxi's waist. This sight made my elder sister's face turn ashen. The golden tassel hairpin on her head froze in place, and 2 streams of tears immediately fell. The sword also dropped beside Xia Shenxi's pillow. I hated her. Yet sometimes I truly couldn't understand her. Wasn't it she who sent me to them? Why was she crying? Did she think I spent every night merely kneeling by Xia Shenxi's bedside? Did she believe that as long as Xia Shenxi didn't spend the night with me, her young man would never be a prostitute? She didn't strike Xia Shenxi, but raised her hand to slap me, only to be stopped by Xia Shenxi. His gaze fell upon the sword beside the pillow, and the remorse on his face vanished instantly. You were the one who sent her to my bed. Why this sudden jealousy? Xia Shenxi shielded me, his expression cold. Better you know the truth than me inventing excuses. Xia Shenxi, you coward. It's not that I'm incapable. She still hasn't conceived. It's that you're utterly unable to. Before she could finish, Xia Shenxi's hand struck her face. Brother-in-law. How could you hit my sister for my sake? Xia Shenxi stared blankly at his own hand. Even he seemed unable to believe it. Xia Shenxi didn't strike her for my sake. It was because my elder sister had exposed his deepest fear. The terror a man feels at the prospect of having no heir. His elder sister couldn't comprehend it. Couldn't even imagine it. I hit her for you? Yes. Brother-in-law. You love me. So you instinctively hit my sister for me. What else could he do? Admit his own fear? Xia Shenxi deceived himself too. Yes. I feared she would hurt you. Yes. Brother-in-law. You feared she would hurt me. The eldest sister left in tears. That very afternoon, the Lin family's matriarch arrived at the Xia residence. She's merely a pregnant woman, a novelty the marquis keeps for amusement. How could you lose the dignity befitting a mistress of the house? The Lin matriarch displayed the bearing of a true head of the household. It matters not how many concubines bear children. What matters most is that you sit back and watch the tigers fight. The eldest sister was struck by this revelation. As if waking from a dream. That very night, the eldest sister demanded my maid, Xiao Mei. When Xiao Mei returned, her eyes were swollen from crying. The elder sister intended to betroth her to Xia Shenxi, to share my favor. But Xiao Mei refused. She had someone she loved, the gatekeeper Chen Hu. She was waiting for the master's mercy to release her in 5 years, so they could marry. If he truly loved you, he wouldn't care if you'd born children. And it wasn't for nothing, he gave you money. The elder sister laughed again. Besides, he won't formally take you as his wife. Once you've borne his child, I'll release you and even reward you with some banknotes. Xiao Mei only bowed her head, insisting she was unworthy of the marquis. My elder sister grew impatient. Of course I know you're unworthy. I only said that to save your dignity. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Seeing my concern, Xiao Mei vigorously wiped her tears. shook her head at me, and smiled. Miss Lin, don't worry. I won't fight you. I refuse to fight you. Can't we beg the Marquis one more time? My heart aches for you. Xiao Yan's eyes had already turned ashen. The lady has decided. No one can change it. Perhaps it's true. As the lady said. If he truly loved me, even if I bore his child, his heart toward me would never change. Truthfully, she didn't believe it either. But clinging to that thought was her only comfort. When everything changed and no one remained the same, she could still deceive herself. He never truly loved her. It wasn't like that. The lady said following the Marquis would bring honor. But I don't want that. I don't want it. There must still be a way to turn this around. I had a plan forming in my mind. When I went to see the old lady, she had just awakened from her afternoon nap. How long have you been here? Why didn't you say anything? I shook my head, refusing to speak. The old nurse hurriedly took the Heart Sutra I'd copied and the note I'd written, presenting them to the matriarch. The note said that last night I dreamed a bodhisattva placed a male infant in my arms, telling me I would conceive within a month. To show sincerity, I must copy the Heart Sutra daily and remain silent until the pregnancy is confirmed. And during this month, the Marquis must not take a concubine into the household, lest it disturb the spirit of the unborn child. The old lady froze. Though skeptical, she dared not break the taboo. After all, the bodhisattva troubled only me, and taking a concubine wasn't urgent within this month. On the way back, Xiao Mei looked at me anxiously. Madam, what if this month? I gently placed my hand over hers, signaling her to be at ease. You needn't go to such lengths for me. What if the Marquis and the old lady come to despise you? She didn't know how much I owed her. In my past life, Xiao Mei wasn't like other servants who fawned on the highborn and trampled the lowly. She didn't mistreat me at my elder sister's behest. When my elder sister gave me spoiled food, she'd share half of her own portion with me. If Xiaxin treated me harshly, she'd ask Chinhu to buy medicine for my wounds. Such a kind-hearted girl shouldn't have ended up like me, rotting in the mud. Don't be afraid. I stroked her cheek. I'm here for you. Actually, Miss K, you should be cautious. Ahu told me that Chunner, the maid serving the mistress, often carries letters in and out. The Lin family's visit this time is likely because of something the mistress wrote in a letter. I froze. No. In my past life, I never heard of Lin Wana writing home. Besides, the Lin family lives nearby, they could just send someone to deliver messages. Then who is she writing to? Probably only the Prince of Yong. I pondered. If possible, could you have Chinhu keep an eye out? It would be best if he intercepted the letters. No problem. Chunner loves to play and wander. Sometimes she comes back early, and Chinhu and the others help watch her parcels. Earlier this month, my elder sister scoffed at my belief in the bodhisattva's dream. Such superstition. I feigned urgency. We must honor the bodhisattva. She'll be displeased. She sneered contemptuously. Utterly foolish. Believing in that clay figure. Xiaxin felt sorry for me copying sutras daily and found it hard to speak up. But I understood his feelings and took his hand. As long as I can bear the Marquis's child, this hardship is nothing. Half a month later, just like in my past life, I became pregnant. The old lady was so overjoyed she burned incense in the Buddhist hall for 3 days straight, chanting ceaselessly that the bodhisattva had granted her a child and the Xia family would surely prosper. My elder sister glared jealously at my flat belly. Yet a seed of doubt began to grow. Perhaps it's just a coincidence. That night, Xia Shenxi was overjoyed, straining to hear the non-existent fetal heartbeat. Qiaoer, I'm going to be a father? I nodded softly, smiling at him. Husband, what shall we name this child? It was the first time I'd called him husband, and Xie Shenxi made no objection. He held me tightly. The Xie family has an heir. It's all thanks to you. Chower. Xie Shenxi and the old madam were overjoyed, and gifts flowed into my room like a river. It's too extravagant. I looked at Xie Shenxi uneasily. Would my elder sister be displeased? It's from your husband, the child's father. Xie Shenxi picked out a gold tassel hairpin for me. You deserve it. I only lowered my head, blushing, and murmured a soft hom. You have no idea how important this child is to me. Care. Xie Shenxi gazed at me earnestly. I always thought the Xie lineage would end with me. I even feared it was my fault. Who said that? I burrowed into his embrace. I'll defend my husband. How will you defend him? Seeing my blush, Xie Shenxi grew even more tender. Care. I've been thinking lately, was marrying your elder sister a mistake? No. You two are a match made in heaven. She's novel and intriguing, but sometimes too scandalous, making her seem restless. Xie Shenxi sighed. At times. I wish I'd married a woman like you instead. The inner quarters would be peaceful. The next day, the old madam took me to pay respects to my elder sister, in truth, to warn her not to covet my womb. Her eyes fixed on me relentlessly. From the golden hairpins and jeweled ornaments adorning my head, to the silk gown as splendid as hers. The Lin Kayer who now stood beside her, Lin Wanner, was a far cry from the cautious, modest figure who had first entered the household. Dazzling with jewels and finery, she was an invisible provocation. Finally, her gaze settled on my belly. She looked as if she wanted to cut me open, rip out the child, and plant it within herself. She was truly peculiar. She clung to the pride and self-respect of a lifelong, exclusive bond, yet deceived herself into believing that without a formal title, it wasn't betrayal. She wasn't like the noble matriarchs I'd seen, numbly submissive as they accepted their husbands' concubines, treating the secondary wives as less than human and themselves as less than human. Nor like the courtesans I'd seen in music halls, women who craved only their lover's affection. Living recklessly, embracing each day with abandon, she seemed caught between two sets of rules. Sometimes dazzlingly bright, other times torn apart by the tension. I curtsied. To the outside world, this child is my elder sister's. From today onward, she'll have to bear the burden of concealing the truth. Chunner, the eldest sister's maid, has already sown some false bellies. During the Dragon Boat Festival and Mid-Autumn Festival banquets, the eldest sister wore them to deceive everyone. The letters between the eldest sister and the Prince of Yong were intercepted by me. I replied in letters imitating the handwriting of both the eldest sister and the Prince of Yong. I told my elder sister I intended to dismiss all 5 concubines, reserving the position of princess consort of Yong solely for her. We would meet in the rear meditation chamber of Sandalwood Mountain on Zhongyuan Day, then flee together. I also informed Prince Yong that my younger sister could serve as my stand-in to please him, as she remains unbetrothed. I offered to arrange a meeting between the two of you in the rear meditation chamber of Sandalwood Mountain during Zhongyuan. According to my plan, on the Mid-Autumn Festival, 3 scandals would erupt simultaneously: my elder sister's fake pregnancy, her secret rendezvous with the Prince of Yong, and her forced prostitution. This would make her wish she were dead. I had carefully laid the groundwork, waiting only for the Mid-Autumn Festival to unfold. I knew my plan had too many loopholes. For instance, if they noticed the slightest difference in handwriting, or if my elder sister confronted the Prince of Yong before the festival, or if the Prince of Yong were willing to sacrifice his dignity for her sake, whatever unexpected turn occurred, my elder sister would emerge unscathed. Only I would be shattered to pieces. But I possessed no extraordinary abilities, no knowledge of medicine or poison. I could only gamble. Upon seeing the Prince of Yong's reply, my elder sister was overjoyed. 4 days. I monopolized Xia Shenxi. Yet she didn't even grow angry. But things with the Prince of Yong didn't go as smoothly as I'd imagined. The Prince of Yong rejected my elder sister. I harbor no ulterior motives toward your sister. With the Prince of Yong refusing to come, a crucial element that could truly destroy her was missing. Yet that day, as she stood there, she resembled you at 17. I paced anxiously in my room. Was the plan changing? Should we switch tactics, expose my elder sister's fake pregnancy in public, forcing her into prostitution? But that would shatter Lin Keir's gentle, obedient facade. Once Xia Shenxi and the others caught on, none of our remaining schemes would work. Something felt off. A sense of unease gripped me. The Prince of Yong already has 5 concubines. If I were truly offered to him, he wouldn't refuse. Besides, at the spring banquet, the way the Prince of Yong looked at me was no different from how those male patrons at the music pavilion gazed. That leaves only one possibility: the Prince of Yong has already recognized my forged handwriting. In his eyes, I must be a scheming woman, relying on my looks to climb the social ladder by attaching myself to the powerful. From the start, I've been deceiving him, pretending to genuinely adore Xia to extricate myself. Yet after all this time, the Xia household hasn't taken me as a concubine. With my elder sister pregnant, my path to climbing the ranks in the Marquis's household has grown treacherous. Now I scheme to replace my sister and wed him instead. If he suspects this, he'll never grant my wish. On the Mid-Autumn Festival, when I invited him to meet in secret, he wouldn't risk it. After a moment's thought, I caught sight of the lavishly dressed woman in the mirror, her brows deeply furrowed. I curved my lips, and the woman in the mirror smiled back at me. I ran my fingers over the golden tassel hairpin at my temple, my elder sister's favorite. How could I have forgotten? The protagonists of this play have always been my elder sister and me. As for which man to use, does it truly matter? Prince Yong, you may see my ruthlessness. You may see everyone's hidden motives. I was certain Prince Yong had seen through my deception. So I used a dream from the Bodhisattva as an excuse, persuading the old lady to confine my elder sister. This way, news of her could not reach the outside world. My belly grew larger day by day. By the Mid-Autumn Festival, I was already over 5 months along. Husband, I said, I wish to go to the temple to pray for blessings. Fearing Xia Shenxi might object, I smiled and added, I'll wear a veil. If anyone asks, you can say I'm your elder sister. With this belly, everyone will assume I am. Xiao Mei won Chun'er over, urging her to style Lin Wan'er in simple, unadorned makeup. She arranged her hair in a maiden's bun, not the coiled style of a married woman. Qin Hu deliberately loosened the guards, allowing the elder sister to escape. The meditation chamber was shrouded in smoke, making even the silhouette indistinct. The unexpected I'd anticipated still happened. Xiao Mei told me that the Prince of Yong paused briefly outside the meditation room to peek inside. Mistaking the one lost in passion within for me, he turned away in disgust. Yet halfway out, he stopped a clueless novice monk and instructed him to deliver water to the meditation room where my elder sister resided. How splendid! I nearly laughed out loud. How could I ever learn your cruelty? Dragging the innocent into your schemes? I consider myself utterly rotten. Yet all I could think of was humiliating my elder sister to take her place. When Xia Shenxi helped me down from the carriage, he crossed paths with the Prince of Yong. I gave a slight curtsy. Yet he didn't recognize me at first glance. Not until I lifted my face. Seeing my ornate, luxurious attire identical to my elder sister's, and then my swollen belly, the Prince of Yong froze completely. How could you? How could you be here? How could you be the one pregnant? Then who was that in the meditation chamber? The Yong prince seemed plunged into icy water. Before he could question me, he hurried back toward the meditation chamber. What's going on? Shall we go see? Xia Xinji was naturally eager to witness his rival's downfall. The meditation chamber was shrouded in smoke. The love potion had been slipped into my elder sister's tea. Drunk before she left. She now stood disheveled, clutching a young monk while calling out the Yong King's name in a daze. The temple monks' faces darkened with fury. Such desecration of the imperial monastery demanded an explanation. Pilgrims whispered among themselves, by tomorrow, the whole temple would know. The Marquis's wife? That can't be right. The Marquis and his wife are right there. Look at her belly. And she's still wearing a bride's hairstyle. It definitely isn't the Marquis's wife. Then who is this? Xia Xinji made his choice faster than I could have imagined. In that instant, he forgot every vow of lifelong devotion, kicking his elder sister squarely in the chest. Lin Kaer, how could you be so shameless? Before the Prince of Yong could question, I raised my hand and landed a furious slap across her face. How could a sister do such a disgraceful thing? The crowd instantly understood, shaking their heads and sighing at the family's misfortune. One slap wasn't enough to sober her up. 7 or 8 maids held her down. Amid her struggles, following my instructions, though who knows with what force, someone left a deep, bloody gash across my elder sister's face. This is Lin Kaer's mark. Elder sister. From now on, you must live well in this world for Lin Kaer. The excruciating pain snapped her back to her senses. In an instant, she understood the entire conspiracy. You betrayed me? You. She lunged madly at my belly, only to be kicked squarely in the gut by Xia Xinji. This harlot has gone mad. Take her back to the Xia residence and lock her up. Servants covered her mouth, fearing she might utter more words that would bring shame upon the family. Xia Xinji, thoroughly annoyed, hurriedly climbed into the carriage. Passing by me, Li Lang remarked with self-mockery. I underestimated you. I bowed slightly. The wind is cold and fierce. Your Highness. Return home soon. Why are you the one pregnant? Li Lang understood the sequence of events. Yet one question remained unanswered. What exactly do you want? What do I want? How laughable. From the very beginning, I wanted nothing at all. My elder sister was locked away, in the very cell I'd occupied in my past life. After calming down, Xia Xinji ultimately spared her life. He found the matter riddled with inconsistencies. Yet it remained tangled beyond untangling. The eldest sister naturally couldn't reveal her correspondence with the Prince of Yong. She stuck to her story, that she'd lost consciousness after drinking water and had no memory of how she ended up at the temple. She was clever, immediately directing Xia Xinji's suspicion toward me. Xia Xinji still harbored a shred of affection and pity for her. Since you suspect me, search my room. My quarters were spotless. Yet they seized my elder sister's letters to the Prince of Yong. Correspondence with her lover naturally held no kind words for Xia Xinji. When those letters were flung at my elder sister's face, Xia Xinji's expression was etched with profound disappointment. My elder sister knelt on the ground, sobbing bitterly. The Prince of Yong and I are truly innocent. If you don't believe me, interrogate Chun'er, she's been by my side the longest. Chun'er's face turned deathly pale as she hurriedly knelt and kowtowed. Your lordship. Our mistress ordered me today to comb her hair as if she were still unmarried. Had she not commanded it, this servant dared not, could not, have done such a thing. The eldest sister pushed Chun'er away hoarsely, her eyes blazing at me. You're lying. It's all that worthless servant Kaer's doing. Speak up. You wretch. Why don't you dare speak? The women's wails and shouts gave Xia Xinji a headache. I needed do nothing but remain silent. Standing beside Xia Xinji, I remained docile and beautiful in my silence, like a merciful Madonna forgiving all the mad accusations. Won't you speak for yourself? Xia Xinji leaned wearily against the armchair, massaging his temples before lifting his gaze to me. I trust my lord as my lord trusts me. I gently pressed his temples. If my lord says I am guilty, I will accept it. Xiaxinji stared silently at his elder sister for a long time. From her hairpin to her wound, from her heaving chest to her flat belly. His gaze was nostalgic yet icy. Like a serpent slithering down her body. The elder sister trembled in fear, clutching his sleeve desperately. It was Kair. She resented me for sending her to your bed. She plotted this. I don't know what kind of pampered life her former world afforded her, making her naively and foolishly cling to one truth. She still believed in rules. Believed that as long as she was innocent, justice would be served. But once the door closed, Xiaxinji became her entire world. Perhaps my elder sister would never understand that in Xiaxinji's heart, in every man's heart, there dwells a venomous snake. Years of affection had lulled that serpent to sleep. Now it has awakened. Waner. Xiaxinji spoke. The eldest sister scrambled up joyfully, clutching his boot. But that call of Waner was not for her. Come, Waner. Xiaxinji didn't look at her, taking my hand and cupping it in his palm. My sister is worthless. Don't grieve. I shook my head softly. Sister, reflect here. If you come to your senses, I'll give you another chance. I gave my elder sister that chance, and she did not disappoint me. The poisoned soup was served at the banquet. It did not kill Xiaxinji or me, but it did poison the old Madame Xia. Truthfully, compared to Xiaxinji and my elder sister, I sometimes feared the old Madame Xia more. I often wondered if this woman, steeped in the intrigues of the inner quarters for half her life, could see through my disguises and schemes as easily as a bodhisattva on a high altar. Thankfully, she is dead. My elder sister refused to confess, insisting I was the one who poisoned her. Xiaxinji was given the poisoned wine. Afternoon sunlight streamed through the prison cell window. I sit before her, serving her food and wine, just as she once deceived me into entering the mansion. You truly despise both me and Xiaxinji, don't you? So you took revenge on me, and he's next, right? I only smile and shake my head, sighing. I deeply loved Marquis Xia, but I never sought to compete with you. I only wished to be a concubine. It's perfectly normal for a marquis to have multiple wives and concubines. Why can't you understand that? My elder sister froze, shooting me a look of contempt. What could a woman like you, who only knows how to please men, possibly understand? In our time, there were no concubines. I listened, mesmerized, as she recounted her past stories, unwilling to interrupt her. I truly envied her. There was another world, it seemed, where one could seek justice without such self-destruction. At this point, the elder sister suddenly remembered. Was it you who poisoned me at the temple during the ghost festival? I shook my head, meeting her gaze honestly. I never knew why you were like that. In that situation, I could only cover for the Marquis. I never lied to you, never deceived anyone in this household. I warned you the wine was poisoned. Sister, truth cannot be spoken to others, not even the dead. To my astonishment, knowing it was poisoned, she drained the cup. I knew her foolishness, yet couldn't fathom such utter folly. When one dies, everything ends. Perhaps the poison took effect, for a smile of near madness and intoxication spread across my elder sister's face. Though you've bewitched the Marquis's heart, once I'm dead, he'll be consumed by regret. He'll torture and kill you, the one who harmed me, spending the rest of his days tormented by his failure to see your true nature. It was a kind of spiritual triumph and satisfaction I couldn't comprehend. In that moment, I truly did not understand her. Was this what that era taught her? I will die in the prime of his love, becoming the moonlight he remembers for a lifetime. Yet even if you enjoy wealth and honor, you will never win Xiaxin's heart. You cannot defeat a dead person. She tried to use her fear to make me afraid. Then after your death, I will take over your shops, your name, your glory, everything that is yours. I smoothed my skirt and rose, turning back in the light. As my elder sister said, I would live well, even if a life of splendor and wealth meant no one loved me. My elder sister's funeral was hastily arranged. I watched Xia Xinji, wanting to see if my elder sister's prediction held true. Would Xia Xinji grieve? Would he regret? No. On the third day after my elder sister's burial, he ate and drank as usual. I took over all of my elder sister's shops. After several sleepless nights, I had sorted through the business affairs, the herbal pharmacy, the fabric shop, and numerous inns and restaurants. Everything proceeded as if nothing had happened. Xia Shenxi still hadn't remembered my elder sister. Even on the 7th day after her death, he touched my belly. You're quite far along. Is that all right? A wave of nausea washed over me, and I vomited violently by the bedside. I nudged Xia Xinji. It's not good for the child. Only then did Xia Xinji show a hint of regret. If only I'd spared her life. Now I'd have someone to pass the time with. Once you've given birth, I'll need to take several concubines, unable to profit from me during my pregnancy. His gaze turned to the pleasure quarters. The brothel madam had collected payment from both ends. Like leeches drawn to blood. How could she let him go? Love potions, wine to heighten passion, Persian dancers, Western beauties. Catching venereal disease was a common occurrence. Xia Shenxi's skin began to erupt with tiny, vivid syphilitic sores inside and out, forcing him to urinate through a reed tube. Consulting doctors? Of course he did. Skilled physicians prescribed countless concoctions, which he swallowed until bile rose in his throat. Quacks used red-hot scissors to cut away the ripe sores, a slow, agonizing branding. But Lady Xia, a woman of delicate constitution, kneed before the bodhisattva for days on end, pleading with Guanyin to save her suffering husband. It was a clear, bright day. Xia Xinji lay on his deathbed, his breath faint as a thread. His body was covered in dense sores, like a snake stripped of its scales. He summoned me to his bedside, dictated the child's name, and made me swear to remain faithful after his death. I obediently knelt beside him. My lord, when the child is 100 days old, it will be the season of the spring banquet. Xia Xinji seemed strangely nostalgic. I still remember you speaking of the spring banquet. How you fell for me at first sight. As emotion welled in his voice, he reached out to touch my face, but lacked even the strength to lift his hand. Say it again. Say it. I lowered my head to wipe away tears. But I feared you might not be here. He would die from a fever during the spring banquet season. Xia Xinji froze, his eyes suddenly wide. He struggled to grasp my skirt hem. What do you mean? That was my child. You. He tumbled from the bed and ceased breathing moments later. The mourning banners at the Marquis's residence were taken down only to be raised again. Pregnant and clad in mourning robes, I knelt before the spirit tablet until I fainted time and again. How pitiful, a woman bereft of her man is the most wretched of all. What good is such a vast estate? Nothing but a cold, lifeless mountain of gold. When Prince Yong, Li Lang, came to pay his respects, it was late, long after the guests had departed. I underestimated you. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the sparrow behind. He said. I sensed the third arrow I'd released a year ago now piercing my heart. Did Prince Yong truly love his elder sister enough to seek vengeance for her? I didn't believe it. If it were love, why 5 concubines? Why not abandon everything and flee with her? Why not aid her when she was imprisoned? That day leaving Sandalwood Temple, I brushed past the Prince of Yong. I saw his fury, and his vexation was not lost on me. The moonlight, forever beyond reach, became too white. Slick bodies entwined. When others suspected that woman was his legitimate sister, the looks they cast at the Prince of Yong were filled with mockery and scorn. As if asking him, the woman you've obsessed over all these years is nothing but foolish and vulgar. I offered no defense. Only when I quietly looked at him did I carefully shield my belly. No explanation was needed, nor any excuse for myself. These days, I'd discovered a role more useful than wife, mother. He lifted my unadorned face, pale yet strikingly beautiful, and sighed with self-mockery. To commit such wickedness with this face. I truly underestimated you. No wonder they all fell victim to your schemes. I remained silent. The Prince of Yong sighed. You needn't fear me. I know all that came before. I admire intelligent, beautiful women. Only, these past days I've often wondered if I'd met you sooner. Might I? Sooner. I'd have become your sixth concubine. You'd have raged at my premarital indiscretion and cast me aside forever. He loved clever, beautiful women, but loved himself more. The Prince of Yong froze, then actually smiled. I hear Lady Xia has made great strides in calligraphy lately. When she has time, I'll ask her for another scroll. Just as my elder sister cursed me, my later years were indeed filled with splendor and leisure. I took over my elder sister's shop business, opening a charity hall and a medical clinic. I hope to atone for the sin and regret I felt toward that child during the spring banquet. I truly dread the shackles of being both wife and mother. I fear this child's future judgment of me. The charity hall's 100-day celebrations drew many children, among whom might be found a worthy heir to the Xia household. Xian was such a child. Dutiful and obedient. He possessed the same jet black, luminous eyes as that boy. His only flaw, if one could call it that, was the boundless curiosity and liveliness typical of a 7-year-old. He was curious about the forbidden cell in the back courtyard, always tugging at my sleeve with a pout. Mother, what's hidden in there? Knowing I couldn't keep it from him, I led him to open the door. Inside lay a deathly silence, permeated by the lingering scent of aged sandalwood incense. Within the cell stood a small spirit tablet for Lin Care's child. Mother once had a sister, you should call her Auntie. Auntie had a little brother. But then Auntie was gone. And the little brother was gone too. Xia insensibly leaned against me, wiping away my tears. Mother, don't be sad. Anur won't ask anymore. With Anur here, Mother isn't sad. Holding Xian's hand, I looked back at the lush backyard in early autumn. Old grudges buried by vines and weeds over the years. A little sparrow hopped about the backyard, never finding a branch quite right to perch upon. Unlike humans bound by constraints, its life drifted like floating duckweed. It merely pecked leisurely at its feathers, then turned its head and flapped its wings toward the azure sky. The end.